Just imagine if you had energy, how much better your slot would be. You know, you can pray, you can do extra slots, you got energy. So energy is everything. So if you are not physically fit, slot could be a little challenging. You know, I'm tired, I want to do it, but you're in shape. Slot is like, hey, this is nothing. Like I can do this all day. You know, so I think it's a big component. But also too, the movement. When you move in your body, you get blood circulating through your brain. You know, so you start to think, you know, and feel better. I was very fortunate to have I had very good grandparents who were very religious. They're Christians, so I grew up in the church. Church, you know, 3 days a week. You know, my grandmother, she sung in the choir. Father played the organ. Had uncles who were ministers. So I grew up in that atmosphere, having that foundation of the belief in God. But my issue growing up in the church was, you know, everybody's praying to Jesus, and for me, it didn't make no sense. I just pray to God. You know, well, Jesus is God. But we said God died, like, so, you know, Jesus died, so God died? So that just didn't make no sense to me. You know, so I think very thankful for my family, especially my grandparents, for the church. They gave me that foundation of the belief in God. But the other aesthetics of it was like, they make no sense. So my grandparents, they're like my guardian angels, I'll call them. You know, I didn't worry about anything. I needed money, I needed clothes. They took care of me. You know, I'm very blessed to have them in my life, a big part of my life. They passed away, grandmother like a year and a half ago, and my grandpa like 10 years ago, and still thinking about them every day. You know, I say my prayers 5 times a day. I pray for them every day. Very thankful. Now my parents is a different story. My father, he was an alcoholic. So I grew up in a household where he was very physically and verbally abusive to my mom. Yeah, he was a very kind of violent man. So I saw that at a young age, you know, what that would do to a person and their family. So really, you know, tore our family apart. You know, saw the abuse, I saw the sadness in my mom's face. My brothers were affected, I was affected. They divorced. I was probably around, I'll say 9 years old. And honestly, I hated my father. I didn't want anything to do with him at all. Actually, we got in a big kind of fight-ish because he was about to hit my mom, and I tried to defend my mom. He pushed me, you know, and then I didn't talk to him probably for like 25 years. And I was like, I hate this guy. But my mom, she was my rock, you know. She's very tough on us, you know, school, you know, physical activity, you know. She worked 2 or 3 jobs, but she made sure, you know, we was taken care of. We played basketball. She got us into basketball, football, baseball. Year round, we played sports just to keep us out of trouble. And that was like the best thing that happened to us, getting into sports. You know, my neighborhood we grew up in, it was, you know, violence, it was drugs, crime, and we could have easily, I don't know, I mean, I truly was all law. Somehow we never got involved with that. Yeah. You know, we just knew, go to school and sports, and you know, we never got no trouble. Alhamdulillah for that.
You were born and raised here in Richmond?
Yep, yep. Well, no, born in San Francisco, actually. Yeah, and lived in San Francisco till I'll probably say 8 years old, and then moved to Richmond after that. And then actually lived in Richmond until I'll probably say 10. And my mom, she couldn't afford the mortgage over here, so we lived with my grandmother in San Francisco, back over there in one room, my mom and my younger brothers, for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and then moved back to Richmond. I was probably around 11 and a half, almost 12. And but for me, you know, basketball became like my outlet. You know, I look back, I really enjoyed the creativity of the game. And I also played football and baseball, but some with basketball, it was just like, wow, I can do it myself. I ain't nobody to do it with. I can go to the park and play and just be creative. So I would spend hours just by myself, just shooting and playing. So I look back, that was a big outlet for me to deal with the quote unquote trauma, you know, that I was going through with my family and stuff, my father. So I end up just kind of being, you know, somewhat decent in basketball. And that's actually how I met Hashim, actually, through basketball. But actually, my first introduction to Islam was my junior high school Pakistani friend named Ali. And I used to tease him all the time. And he's like, "You're gonna be a Muslim one day, right?" Never get it. I was like, "Muslim? What is that? You're gonna be a Muslim? Watch." And I was like, I was just teasing. You're young, you do stupid stuff. And I never knew what he meant. And that following year, I met Hashim. And made him appear for basketball purposes. Hashim, basically, he calls my phone up. And I heard you're good in basketball. I want to see you play. And my mom was like, "Who's that guy? Who's that guy?" I was like, I don't know. Just, I was a kid. I was like, I don't know. And then, I met Hashim. He saw me play. And then, gave me a nickname. The nickname is Circus. It's like, man, you put on a show, man. You gotta, give me a nickname. He gave me a nickname, Circus.
So that came from him?
It came from Hashim, straight from Hashim. And I'm literally around Hashim every day. Basketball, school. He used to drill the heck out of me. Drills. And during that period of time, I'm around different Muslims. I'm seeing them pray. I'm seeing other Muslims. I'm very observant. I'm like, what is that? What are you doing? What does that mean? So he started explaining what Islam is. And for me, it is, that makes sense. Because, being a Christian, in the past, it is to just believe, but no rationale behind what you believe. And with Islam, it gave me, you think the rationale behind it. So it just, that made perfect sense to me. So it was a natural progression. So I actually started reading the Bible more. And I found so many contradictions in the Bible. I'm like, just one part say one thing, another part say something different. Didn't make no sense. And I'm reading the Quran, it was just, everything just aligned perfectly. And it's made perfect sense. And by the time I came, I say around 15, 16, I'm like, okay, this just feels right. So I remember telling my mom, I'm about to become Muslim. She was like livid, like, "No, you're not. You're Christian. Your family's Christian." And she was like really pissed. Pissed to the point that she called my father. My father tried to talk to me, and I'm like, talk that dude, And my grandparents tried to talk, but I'm like, this is my life. I am not you. I love you guys, but this is my life, and I'm going to do it whether you like it or not. And I was very fortunate that I always made my own decisions as a kid. I never followed the crowd, did what I felt was best for me. So I was very confident in my decision, and whether my family was against me or with me, it didn't matter at that point. And they, of course, was angry, but they saw I'm still the same person, and they gradually started, okay, Islam is cool. I ain't changed, I'm still the same person, and actually a better person. And so that's like my family and background, introduction to Islam. I credit my family for my Christian background, the faith in God. So Islam was just a natural extension, transition was just easy. We're just like, believe in God. I believe in Jesus as the messenger of God. So it was just easy for me. I already had that in my mind already, growing up, questioning things. So it was just very easy for me. The hard part for me was just telling my family. That was the thing. But at the same time, I think my own thoughts. I believe what's for me. And again, my family, I love them, but I'm not you. So I always had out that mindset as a kid.
And then giving the Shahada, did you decide to go to a mosque? Did you decide it was?
I remember. So we with Hashim actually we did. It was in Berkeley, and it was a little get together of the Muslims, and we had a little like dinner gathering, and I remember telling I'm ready, and it just sporadic, and we just did it. I actually remember like it was yesterday actually. I'm a pretty disciplined person, so I don't. Honestly, it wasn't hard for me. It was very natural for me. Maybe just learning the salat, Ramadan fasting, just some things like that, just the actual practices. But I enjoy routine and schedules, so I enjoy that. It gives me structure. I like structure. Because playing basketball, like practicing, you practice you got training, you got weights, and you have a schedule. So for me, it was natural for me to structure, and I actually enjoy that. and just being connected with Allah. Just, oh wow, okay, so you pray in the morning, pray in the afternoon, pray at night. So it was like, oh okay, it's like it just felt natural, like it, yeah, it's very organic.
Was it easy, difficult dealing with Muslims from different ethnic backgrounds, or did that also come naturally?
Good question.
Or did you not deal with? Sometimes people just don't deal with it. There's that option.
I could be naive sometimes. I think for me, like, I did feel sometimes at certain mosque, I did feel a different energy.
Yeah.
Maybe people staring, or why you're praying like this. I mean, just, different things like that. But I don't take things personal at all, so I just like, whatever. I look at it as, Islam is perfect, people are imperfect. So I don't really judge people. Because everybody has different backgrounds and stuff. So I never really got involved in all the different ethnic and culture battles and that kind of stuff. So I kind of just, tunnel vision, stayed in my lane, and,
You did your own thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
How did you? I heard you went to Iran to play. How did all that happen?
Yeah, actually, Hashim actually got me over there. He's actually my agent actually, and I ain't gonna lie, that was scary for me at first, because of here, American propaganda here, Iran, terrorists, and all that kind of stuff, and I know they's Muslim, but still, I'm like, honestly, I tell people, I went over there, I was like, wow, the people were so nice. And actually, I remember going on the plane, and there was a Muslim couple. Oh, Iran is real nice. They gave me a number, and you have any issues, let us know. And just from the get-go, people were just friendly. I had no issues with Iran. Like I tell people all the time, I feel safer out there than I do in the States. You can walk, nobody's bothering you, there's no crime. It was just like safe. I mean, it's so safe and at peace. Playing basketball there was like lovely. I mean, they were really passionate about basketball. And they chant their name, and like they got Mr. Ali, mashallah. You just chant, So the energy was great. And I still got friends I talk to this day, and we contact, and Iran was nice. The food was delicious. I have no complaints, and actually, I tell people all the time, don't believe what you see on TV. You know what I'm saying? Think your own side, think your own thoughts, travel, and I tell people Iran is a nice country. I get pissed off. People say, "Oh, Iran." I'm like, no, Iran is nice. Like, don't fall with that American stuff. What they say on that propaganda, don't believe that stuff. 2 years, yeah. It was had a good time. Had a good time. A lot of good memories. I learned a little Farsi, Farsi, a little bit of Farsi, because you're just around it, you hear different things and stuff. And so I learned a little bit. But obviously, I forgot a lot of it. And I believe when you're in different culture, a language, you're around it, you pick up things. I picked up French, I picked up a little Italian. I mean, you just pick things up naturally, just being around people and stuff. What's crazy though, I was in Costco the other day. Actually probably maybe 2 days ago. Now they have a whole halal meat section in Costco now. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh damn, they got halal now, like meats. Usually
Regular or the business?
no regular now up the street. Your Costco. Cause usually they got stuff, but you gotta kind of like you gotta look for it. Now they had a sign, halal meat, halal goat cubes and stuff. And I was like, oh wow, okay, Costco, okay, But so I'm in line, and I see a Muslim brother. I was like, oh, Salam, bro. I was like, oh, I'm like, you see the halal section? Oh, is there a halal section? I'm like, yeah, oh man. And then he's looking at his wife. He's like, I think he's in a rush, cause I think she wanted him to go get it, but he's like, you go. And I was like, what mosque you go to? And he told me what mosque you go to, and I was like, yeah, I go to the White House, and I told him, I was talking about living in Iran and stuff. Oh yeah. So he said, are you one of them people who praise Ali? I was like, one thing, I said, we believe in, the Prophet and his family, peace be upon them. We believe in Allah, but we all Muslim, and I can tell he wanted to debate, but I was like, we're all Muslim, brother, and I kind of left it at that, but You know, but it's like, alhamdulillah, we all Muslim, brother, you know.
Here's a question: do you feel any connection between fitness and spirituality? Because I know you're in the field of fitness training. Do you feel as if people, especially other Muslims, if they can get more into fitness, would that enhance spirituality? Would that help?
I'm a huge component. I think it's go hand in hand. Just imagine if you had energy, how much better your salat would be. You know, you can pray, you can do extra slots, you got energy. So energy is everything. So if you are not physically fit, salat could be a little challenging. You know, I'm tired, I want to do it, but you're in shape. Salat is like, hey, this is nothing. I can do this all day. You know, so I think it's a big component. But also too, the movement, you moving your body, you get blood circulating through your brain. You know, so you start to think, you know, and feel better. You know, honestly, I think people should go for a walk first before they make salat. I don't think you should just wake up and pray. I think you should go for a little 5-10 minute walk, and then you have a little more clear head and a little more focus. You know, because people's body, we have so much trauma and a lot of negative energy in our bodies that needs to be released. And most people, especially nowadays, don't release it because we sit down all day and people on their phones. So you got all that bent up negative energy you're not releasing. So when you release these things, then you can read Quran. You have things with a fresh mind. You know, you can relax and not be so tense. Right. You know, so I look at fitness, especially like, I love being on trails. I call it meditation in motion. You know, you're walking, you're seeing the bird, you're seeing the bees. You're connected. This is all Allah's creation, and you feel a part of this, you know, and you feel like, wow, I'm small, but I'm part of this massive, amazing universe that Allah has blessed us to be in. And for me, it's so humbling. And a lot of times I've been on trails, and I kid you not, butterflies will literally play with me. They would go ahead of me for like 100 yards, and they would catch up, and then they'd go ahead of me again. Would I catch up? I mean, we like a mile of it. And I'm just like, wow, mashallah. I'm just like, this is amazing. And a couple times I would break down crying. I think like my grandparents passed away, and I still deep in my heart. And I'm like, damn, like my grandparents are a different, you know, soul or something. It is, you know, they fall, well, I'm okay, you know, go ahead, play. And so I see these things, and I'm just like, wow. And so I think most definitely people need to have some kind of fitness. And it gotta be anything just crazy, but get your body moving. You know, get all that energy that's built in your body, release it. It has to go somewhere. And your mental health will be so much better. And I think you'll have more compassion to not only for yourself, but for other people too. You know, when you're moving and exercising your body versus you just, you know, you got all this stimulation from the news and your phone, and instead of being stimulated from Allah and nature, you know, because the body and the mind is not designed to be stimulated so much for all this information we get from our phones and from the whole world. You know, Allah wants us to be in the present. You know, like you see a tree. I mean, you look at little babies, kids, they totally present. Like they see a rock, they just, you know, they see a animal, they like, oh wow. You know, what's human, what's adults, we're all over the place. We're not, you know, so when we come to our salat, we're not even thinking, we think about all kind of stuff. So if you're centered, your salat be more centered, you know, more focused. So, and movement, again, being present, you know, exercise helps you be in the present moment. Because when you exercise and lift some weights, you're not thinking about anything else. You're like, I gotta get this weight up. You're in the moment. You're not thinking about your phone. You think, I gotta get this weight up, otherwise I'm gonna hurt myself. I'm gonna die. So you're totally in the moment. And same thing, you're out on the trails. You're engaged. You're not thinking about anything else. Or you think about something else, it would release. Because you're like, you see, there's a tree here. This is beautiful. I mean, these beautiful things, you know, it's a beautiful, you know, you're like, Allah.
Have you seen that? So, for example, let's say that you begin to train someone. Have you seen them become more compassionate? Have you seen them become more spiritual as that journey progresses?
Oh, yes. Cause I think for a lot of people, they come in very hard on themselves. Yeah. You know, I'm nothing. I'm weak, and I'm like, no, you're strong. Allah created us strong. You know, you're not weak. You know, you haven't tapped into what Allah has given you. You haven't tapped into it yet. You know, so you start to train. You start to get a little strong. You start to, oh, wow, okay, oh, yeah, I feel so much better. And then you start being positive with themselves. And then that turns into being positive with other people. You know, and my nature is I want to see the best. I want everybody to fulfill their best self, mentally, spiritually, physically. I want you to be your best. And for me, I should have with compassion, but also I give you that tough love at the same time. Like, nah, I'm not gonna let you just quit and just this is how it is. No, it ain't how it is. You have potential beyond what you think. You know, you just gotta be a little nudge to get past that. And we all need that, you know, because we're human. You know, we get complacent, and you know, Shaitan try to tell us that we're weak and we're nothing. You know, like, nah, we're powerful. You know, and I like fitness. Like, no, well, I'm improved to myself and improve to, you know, and fight Shaitan like, oh, I am powerful. Nah, I'm better than you. You know, I'm not like you. You know.
Do you also see another connection between diets? I don't know if are you into like, do you help people with diet?
Oh yeah, big on that. Yeah, and I'm big on. It's a lot of diets. I try to keep, but like, you know what? If you eat, well, Allah tells you to eat, you'll be fine. Yeah. Eat whole foods. Yeah. You know, there's meat, there's veggies, there's fish, there's fruit. But also at the same time, do not eat until you're full. I think people here, we have a habit of eating till we full. And I think that's a carnal, I mean, that's a sin for me. I tell people because you're full, guess what? All you want to do is lay down and do nothing and sit and just, and then you're tired and you can't make salat because you're tired, you're sluggish. So if you eat to your third full, you have energy, you know, and you feel good. You don't feel sluggish. So I'm a big proponent of eating to your third full. Never eat till you're full. And for me, I had to grow out of that because I grew up in a house like we didn't have a whole lot. So yeah, food, you want it, you know, don't waste no food. Finish your plate. And you don't have to finish your plate. Like, because it's there, you don't have to, you're full. Like, matter of fact, you don't stop. Wait, you don't have to finish it now. So I was taught to, you finish everything on your plate. So it took me years to get out of that mindset of not finishing your plate. Cause there'd be a time like I'd be full, I'm still trying to finish my plate, you know, and you know, as I got older, I was like, you know what? Food is not going nowhere. I can have it tomorrow and the next day, you know. So now my approach, I tell people, just eat just a little bit. Eat for energy. Don't eat to get full. Right. And I believe if people did that, we have a more healthier society, you know. And also, too, I believe, too, people should eat more protein, especially as we get older, because protein is going to help you with your muscles, for your strength, and for your bones, your ligaments, because we lose that strength and that muscle as we get older. And I think most people, especially us Muslim culture, we have a lot of rice, a lot of bread. Yeah. And that's a lot of excess calories and energy that people don't use. We just eating all that, and it's like, and I'm not saying these foods are bad, it's just we overeat them. You know, like a cookie's not bad, but the problem with cookies is you just don't have one, you have 5 or 10 cookies. That's the issue. And it doesn't regulate your brain as far as like give you that signal like I'm full. Yeah. You have a chicken breast, you eat it, oh, I'm full. Yeah. You know. But if you have some pasta, some rice, you're not getting that signal until after you done ate about 3 bowls of rice. Yeah. You know, that's why I tell people get your protein in. Get your protein in. Same thing with fruit. You know, like an apple. You eat an apple, oh, it gives you that signal, I'm full. Yes. You know, so another thing, I tell people not to juice their vegetables or their fruit. Eat your fruit because of the fiber. It's going to tell you I'm full to stop. You juice it, you can easily juice and drink 8 apples in 1 minute. Yeah. But can you eat 8 apples? No. You know, but you can eat 1 apple and I'm full, I'm done, or anything else. You know, so all the little things like that, I try to get people to, you know, be conscious of. You know, and it's hard, you know, it's hard. We got so many options. It's very challenging to tell people, but you gotta be really diligent and mindful. Like when I eat, I'm very like, okay, how's this gonna make me feel? Am I gonna feel like crap? Am I gonna feel good? And am I gonna have more energy? So I'm always conscious. And my main fact for me, I always make sure I try to get my protein in. You know, fish, chicken, beef, steak. You know, sometimes my meal is just a steak. That's my meal. Yeah, and again, you know, sweet stuff is not like cookies and cake is not inherently bad, but it's bad if you overeat it. And again, most people don't have self-control to know when to. I had enough. You know, and I eat sweet stuff, but I've developed a system how to, you know what? I eat it slowly, mindfully. Like, I have a cookie, I'm taking my time. I'm enjoying it. You know, it take me literally like 10 minutes to eat like a small cookie. I want to make sure I'm enjoying it. I'm like, you know, it's not going nowhere. You know, and then you eat it slowly, you get that signal, oh, okay, I had enough. But if you're eating it fast, you're gonna eat a whole lot, and then like, oh, my stomach hurts, too late by then. You know, I tell people, as you know, Islam is a way of life. It's a lifestyle, and fitness and health. You got one body Allah gave us. It's our duty to take care of it. You know, we have to. You know, say I consider it a sin, and we don't take care of it. And Allah's gonna question that. I gave you this body, what you do with it? You know, so I believe it. Everybody should do something physically active. So I tell people, do the lowest dosage you can do to be consistent. So if you can walk for 10 minutes, walk for 10 minutes every day. And then it might be some days you're like, you know what, I can do 15 minutes. But do the bare minimum you can do. So you want to raise the floor versus trying to raise the ceiling. And I think people we do extremes here. Everybody's looking for the home run. I tell people, you want to stay on base because you're not going to be able to hit home runs. But you always stay on base. You can always stay in the game. And you do that by doing the bare minimum consistently. Whether it's walking for 10 minutes, if you can do 10 push-ups a day, it's 10 push-ups a day. But you'll gradually start to improve, you know, and it becomes a habit. And this is what you do as part of your identity, like a slot. This is what we do, you know. And again, you're walking every day. You're doing the bare minimum every day. And then, okay, I did for a couple months. Now, okay, I'm gonna walk for 20 minutes. You know, okay, now I'm gonna do 20 push-ups. But again, it had to do the bare minimum slowly, make it a lifestyle. And I think most people, they do too much at one time. You know, these 30-day challenges and stuff, and they get burnt out. I can't sustain this. It's too much. That's why I tell people to do the bare minimum. Do a little bit. You know, that's the key. You want to be consistent, and most people are not consistent. You know, and that's one of the beauty about Islam. We pray 5 times a day. You know, we're consistent. It's in our DNA as Muslims. Fitness is the same way. You do it every day. It's a little bit. You know, our salat's like 5 minutes. Same thing, fitness, 5 minutes. Go for a little walk, same thing. You know, and you'll slowly start to feel better and do more. And then you start like, oh, I can do a little more, you know. And then you have more energy, you know, I can push a little more. But you got to have some kind of consistency, you know, to start. And not looking for the home run, but you want to stay on base. You know, it could be anything. It could be jumping rope, you know, or if you can jog a mile a day, okay, jog a mile a day. But keep it simple, you know, and not overdoing it. Because again, you don't want to overdo it. You're like, I got to stop for like 3 months. And then you lose momentum. Yeah, you want to keep that momentum going.
Not to mention the injuries that sometimes come from overexertion.
I mean, yeah, it does. And that's part of life. It's part of life. I pop for all kind of little injuries and stuff, but it's just, you know, playing sports, it's just part of the game. But again, you regroup and start over again. But yeah, if you do too much, yeah, your body is like, it's in shock. Your ligaments, your joints, like, what's happened? That's where you got to start off slowly and adapt. And the body's very adaptable to the demands we place on it, you know. And I tell people all the time, I can put you in extreme cold weather and you're going to be like, oh my goodness, it's cold, it's freezing. But then you stay a couple more days, stay a week, and it's like, oh, okay, it's not so bad. Next you know, it's nothing. Or I can put you in extreme hot weather. And at first, it's gonna be very uncomfortable. Oh, I can't, it's too hot. But then you stay a little longer, stay a couple weeks, then a month, like, it don't seem hot no more. And that's how Allah has made our bodies so we're actually adaptive to the demands we place on it. It's amazing. You know, like for example, like the vaccine stuff, you know, like natural immunity, that's from a law. You know what I'm saying? You get something, yeah, it's gonna shock you, but then guess what? Your body adapts and you get natural immunity from it. You know, that's just common sense. That's just, it's a law. That's nature. It's a law. You know, so the body is so amazing. And I want people to know that law created us amazing and that we can adapt to anything, you know. And of course, struggle is part of life. You know, you're gonna have some resistance, but stay in there, you would break through it, you know, and like, oh wow, okay, I feel better. You know, I think most people, they like, oh, they feel discomfort, they just stop. Like, no, it's okay to be uncomfortable, it's okay. Stay with it, you will get through it.
If you had 5 tips to give just to the average person of how to improve their health, what would you give the 5 top things?
I would say first and foremost, move as much as possible. And again, you don't gotta go out and run, just walk. Instead of driving to the store, walk to the store. You know, because sometimes stores are like a mile away, but you can walk to the store with a backpack. And when I was in Japan, everybody walked everywhere. Old people, young people. And I was like, wow. Like you didn't see people, I mean, there's like a lot of taxis, but you see a lot of people walking, shopping. And it's a culture thing. And I think something people are missing here. So I'll tell people to walk as much as possible instead of just driving someplace. Second thing I would say is food-wise, protein. Protein. Most people are not getting enough protein in their body. We get too much of the carbs and the fat, but not the protein. Focus on that. Another thing too, I say, if you can, get out in nature. You know, if it's a park with a tree, walk around a park with a tree and just marvel at it. You know, or you by an ocean, go by the ocean. You know, for your walks. Strength training. You know, if you can do some kind of resistance, it's going to help you build muscle. When you build muscle, it helps you burn fat and burn calories while you're resting. So right now, I'm talking to you guys. I'm burning calories as we speak. You know, so each pound of muscle, if you have in your body, you burn 9 calories per pound of muscle. Each pound of fat, you're gonna burn 4 calories. So the more muscle you have, more calories you'll burn while you're at rest. So if I eat a cookie, it's not gonna affect me. It goes to the muscle. You know, versus somebody who's not doing no muscle, it goes to your bloodstream. You know, that's why a lot of people get like diabetes and things like that at older age because we lose muscle and we lose strength. So everything goes to our bloodstream versus to our muscle. So the term we call muscle being anabolic, you know, which means it's a good thing. Like, you know, you want to be anabolic when you, so, you know, if things come at you, you know, whether it's sickness, it's not going to affect you as much. Whereas the person who's not, you know, have muscle in their body, who's not in shape. You know, so definitely muscle is a big thing in strength training. Because we don't get older, we're all aging and we're all fighting, you know, these unseen things that are aging us. So you got to do what you can, do strength training to minimize that. You know, and again, you don't need a whole lot of equipment. You can do, you know, push-ups, body weight squats. You can do lunges. You can do stuff at home. A lot of things you can do at home. You know, so nobody has an excuse to not do some kind of resistance training. And of course, you know, I believe prayer is part of fitness. You know, because you're gonna have times where you're kind of like, I'm not sure I can do this. You know, and that's when you gotta dig deep. Like, you know what? I can't do this. I got a law on my side. And Shaitan is, again, he's in our heads trying to make us feel like we're weak. And again, you gotta kind of fight that. That's why I like fitness, to kind of fight that. You're like, nah, I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna let Shaitan get the best of me. And I know Allah wants me to fight this and not give in. You know, so those like my main things as far as like move often, get your protein, and drink lots of water, because most people, and stay away from anything processed. I would say stay away from most processed things. You know, you get some food, you want to be able to, oh, that's an apple, that's an orange, oh, you know, that's chicken, you know, versus you gotta look at something and like, you got stuff you can't even pronounce, you know. A lot of things, unfortunately, in packages are designed for us to consume, and get you addicted, and they have things called, quote unquote, natural flavors. What is natural flavors? Stuff is made in the lab, they keep you addicted. Something that tastes like strawberries, but it's not strawberries, and that thing rewires your brain, your DNA. So then you become addicted. Like, I gotta have this because of all these chemicals in it. Yeah, you have an apple, but yeah, you don't. You're full. Like, I'm done. I don't need another apple. You know what I'm saying? You have some steak. I've never seen a person overeat steak. I've tried it. It couldn't do it. I was like, I'm done. Like,
God has perfectly designed it. Yeah, with the calories and nutrients.
Perfectly. And I've tried different stuff. I've tried to eat like 3 oranges and I couldn't do it. I'm gonna eat 2, and I'm just like, I'm full. I'm done. But people, they can drink a lot of orange juice, you know what I'm saying? And again, it's man-made because it's processed. So I tell people, eat your fruits, don't juice your fruits, because you'll get more out of it, the fiber. Those are like my main things, as far as fitness. It's real simple, but it's harder to do consistently. That's the key. And everything, with fitness and food is simple, but people just don't have the discipline to do it consistently. That's the key. And for people who eat a lot of fast food and junk, I tell people to start, eat your protein first before you eat the other stuff. Because you eat your meat first, your chicken, your fish, your steak, you're like, oh shoot, man, I'm not sure I'm gonna eat all that rice now, of all that, or the bread, So always start with your protein first if you want to have the other stuff. First, you have other stuff first, and then the meat is like.
It's almost strategically starting with one thing after another.
Exactly, and that's why I do that purposely. I'm eating my protein first. That's very important because I know the other stuff I can eat like nothing. I believe it's never a point where you feel like you have arrived. And that's one thing I like about fitness and Islam, because it's always change. We're grown as Muslims. We're growing our bodies, we're aging. And the only thing that's constant is change and being able to adapt to these changes that come into our life. We're gonna get new knowledge, We're gonna learn some things, we're gonna unlearn some things. We're gonna, have setbacks. But to embrace all these things we are tested with and not to, quote unquote, judge ourselves, so to say, and be so hard on ourselves, to have compassion for ourselves, because, we are human, we will have setbacks, and there's gonna be things you once did, and you're like, I can't do this again, or I learned this, and, so to embrace being human and have compassion for yourself and know this is part of the process, and there is no destination, like I arrive, because it's not, we're gonna go old, we're gonna be older, and we're gonna learn more, body's gonna change, so you're gonna continually to adapt. But while you're adapting, have compassion for yourself. And again, you have compassion for yourself, you have compassion for other people, other Muslims. That everybody is on a journey. For me, I don't judge nobody, because everybody's going through something in life, because we all got traumas from our childhood and just from life in general. And just to have compassion for people, for Muslims, and for ourselves, and to embrace this spiritual experience that Allah has placed us in. Because this is a beautiful time we're in, and we're blessed to be here right now, and to take advantage of it. And again, show compassion.
Lastly, sorry, what gives you hope?
What gives me hope? As far as what exactly?
In your life.
Hope in my life. I know for me, like, especially from training my clients. So I have a client, I've been training for the last, I say maybe 5 months. He has no cartilage in his knee, bone on bone. Doctors basically told him, trying to get him to have surgery. He said, I'm gonna come to you, see what I can do. So right now he's at a point where he's like, he can barely walk now. He's like stepping on top of chairs and stuff now. And he's like, wow, man, I never thought I would be able to get to this point. He's moving better, he's feeling better. And again, I have clients who had cancer, and now they like off medication, they just feeling better. So I see things like that, and the joy and the confidence people have in their life, like that's what gives me hope, you know, and they feel more, you know, centered, you know, they feel more powerful, they feel more God conscious, you know, because they're like, oh wow, like now they can see better, they can see now. Before they was quote unquote blinded by the, you know, I call it Shaitan, you know, he wants us to feel weak. And so that's what gives me hope, when we overcome these barriers to rise above our, you know, our lowly animal self. You know, like I am capable of more, I can do more, you know, and you try to think better and think more clearly. That's what gives me hope.